So I would start with the question, and I would drop the first ball to you, Juppi. And VfL Wolfsburg is a quite young club in the Bundesliga heaven. Which is why the VfL Wolfsburg regarding future topics is quite and take a pioneering role. It comes to innovation to promote. What is the current state of promising applications in sports and especially in football at the VfL Wolfsburg? And what role do Web3 technologies such as blockchain, metaverse, and co is doing?
Yeah, hello. First of all, I have to correct a bit. We are not a young club. We are founded, we are 3 years older than 1. FC Köln, for example.
Okay.
So I would say we have a kind of tradition. But I think stepping into the Web3 world is a kind of strategic relevance thing. For us, it's relevant because we have it also in our, it's a mindset we have in our mission, in our vision statement. So this is why innovation is very important for us to have also an USP. Against other clubs. We're the first one who entered with the women's football 20 years ago. We're the first ones who had a sustainability department, and we're leading all relevant rankings in sustainability and diversity. And also a couple of years ago, 2 years ago, we entered the world of Web3 and the blockchain with partners, with a fan zone, for example. And I could fully agree what Alex Schlichter said before. And for us, why is innovation important for us? It's because from the outside perspective, we are always seen as the, let's say, club which is a little bit artificial, has no tradition. And we will say, hey, it's no problem when you say we have no tradition. You can refer on the past. The clubs with other clubs in the western part of Germany always refer on the past, on the traditions. And we say we want to focus on the future. And together, as in the combination with we are 100% subsidiary of Volkswagen. We're doing great synergies with Volkswagen. This is why we get in touch with Porsche, and Porsche is bringing us with Fanzone together. And so we started our experiment, and right now we are still on the way. We're still trying and learning and investing and not watching and seeing what happens. So we try to create the future, and this is why we are stepping into this metaverse, NFT, and crypto area.
Pretty nice. And how important is in this field the user experience in sports, especially in terms of customer acceptance and the broad mass adoption of this new technology? What kind of experience had you made in this kind of field so far?
Yeah, we stepped into this Web3 area 2 years ago. I don't know if it's a lot or if it's little, but what we faced is that we have to take care of the terminology, like Alex Schlichter said. When we talk with our fans in football are quite conservative. They're quite skeptical with new things. And when you come up with Web3, with crypto, NFT, and stuff like this, it's not easy to penetrate with these products. So we made a shift, or we are going to make a shift with 2 things concretely. The one thing is that we're going to build up an own platform, not going it via a licensing partners like Fanzone or Fancy. We are building our own platform to mint our own NFTs because we know our fans better. And the second thing is that we want to address, we tried it first with our traditional fans, and we want to shift it to the fans we have also in our space, like the esport fan community, like the international fans who are not able to always come up to the stadium to watch the matches and also to trainings. So we are focusing right now on our, in the social media world, we have 600,000 esport fans, and we are trying to address them because they are into gaming, they know how it works, and they know also the terms, and maybe it's easier to win them as our business case and show them to our conservative fans that this could be a huge utility also for them.
It's a nice spot because also yesterday in a panel was telling somebody that the blockchain would be the most complex technology at the moment so far. This is the reason why you need tech-affine people, to enter this space. For example, ChatGPT, everybody is using it and directly can insanely use it. So there's not like to create a MetaMask wallet or whatever. So it's a kind of complexity behind. And I think this is the good way if you say, okay, we're going to the young gamers, because they are already tech-affine and know to handle this kind of technologies, right?
You have to find use case which works, and for example, for us, it is very relevant to have also a top-down support. Right now, we're not having the crypto, Web3, and digital competencies on the C-level. So we need the top-down support by also creating strategies in this area, and this is what we are working on, and it takes time. It takes time in our world, in the football world. We are quite conservative, and everything is on the pitch, and but I'm very confident and convinced that this is a spot where we have to be in the future.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you very much. Matthias Reichert. Also, Sport One was experimenting with free technologies at this time. What kind of experience had you made in implementing proof of concepts in the area of blockchain and Web3 in sports, and how was this received by your viewers?
Yes, first of all, my name is Matthias, as you said, and I'm responsible for all commercial activities of Sport One. For everybody who don't know Sport1, Sport1 is one of the leading sport platform in Austria, Switzerland, and also in Germany. And yeah, for us, it was very important. We started 3 years ago with this topic, and so many exchanges and traders comes and want to book a flight on our platform, and that was the first touch point for us to think about what's happened now. Yeah? And when we go deeper into the discussion, and we go deeper in our structure, we think about what we can do for the first steps to understand the technology and to understand what these technology can change and for us in business cases. And so, first of all, we had to educate our people, and we needed a structure. And what Juppi say, a top-down discussion that is very, very important and very hard to go this way. And the second one wanted to build a network in the industry because we had to create ideas. What could be the first step for us to learn with this new technology for us? And so we created different ideas. And one of these was to engage our normal broadcasting. And one of our topics is Darts World Championship. And open a new touch point for us, a new touch point in the metaverse. For us, it was very important to learn what's happened on these touch points. It was absolutely clear before we start with this session, it's not a mass communication. I will say it before well, somebody asked this question in the past. And so for us, it was very important that we get a first step inside with a fixed time period, a project, and go out and take a look back and think about, okay, what can we do in the next step? And I think we have a little showcase from our case. So.
Pretty nice. Yeah, you was already talking about the topic about learnings, and could you say about the lessons you learned about from these pros, and how did they influence the decision making for Sport1?
Decision making is a good question. For us, it was very important that we learned, and so we balanced our chance and risk relationship. That means low risk, high learning potential. That was for us very important, and that was the reason that we said a fixed time period, and we focused on our main event, on the Darts World Championship. And one of our learnings, and the lesson before that also, is that sport has the power to create the use cases that people don't get in touch directly with this technique. That's not the important, the technique, the use cases. And what's also very hard to see is, and I think many times we forget consumer behavior. It's so hard to change consumer behavior. And so I think the sports has the power to can transfer these in use cases. And that was also what we get as one of our biggest results, because we saw that so many people are new in this metaverse event for us. It means that we catched the darts community into the new world, and that's one of the main points. Yeah.
That's nice. What you would say about...
Sorry. We have also bought land in the Decentraland, and what we learned is that everybody's talking about utility, right? So you need to have the right utility. If you don't have any utility, you only drop pop-ups or something, it will be difficult to bond with the fans. You have to bring them to your land and then have the right utilities to stay there and to come again. The Jürgen at the panel before said that he was on the wrong side of the Autobahn, and he also said that NBA Top Shot, the people came, were interested, and they went back and never come back again. And I think this is very important to have the right utility. We drop pop-ups, and this is maybe a 10% discount on the next jersey or something, that you bring them always with good stories, and storytelling is also working in the Decentraland and the crypto space.
Nobody comes to you if you only have a place in Decentraland, and nobody is coming. Yeah, you need an editorial concept. We had a detailed editorial concept with incentives. You could win a trip to London. You get your wearable NFT when you start on the darts. And although we had behind the scenes information, connection to our stars and commentators, and also the connection to the Web2 world, to our social feeds, and so it's a combination of all that works in this space.
Yes, pretty nice. How is it? You build a lot of know-how in these new fields. So it's coming other companies to you and ask, how does it work? How did you plan the way? What kind of experience you made? And are you sharing with other companies? Is it more we are closed and we don't want to take a look inside to our stuff?
It's a very important point. Yeah, we are totally open to discuss with all the players in the market, because we are thinking that only collaboration is going on in this space, that we go step by step in the future. And we discuss in the last few months with different players in the market. But what we also have to say, we are in the bear market. That means it's totally hard to find partners to invest for the next step. Yeah? But our way to go is that we go the next steps step by step with the partners and collaboration to learn in this phase, in this phase where we are, so that we have the right solutions when we are going up and we go together. Yeah.
We already talked about it. I think co-creation is a key, and in Wolfsburg, I know all the rumors about the men's team, but we have a very, very successful women's team, and together with the women's team, we can also do some collaborations in the metaverse, for example, because Sport1 is broadcasting next season 1 game per week, so there are a lot of fields, and I invite you all to come up and let's talk about it, because I think we can only develop this space together, and the more people are coming together, having more ideas, I think it's better.
Thank you, Matthias. Thank you, Juppi. Nenad, when it comes to football and promising technologies, it's quite hard to avoid your name. So how do you experience the development of modern technologies at your customers in the sport environment, and how do you think blockchain and Web3 will change the interaction between the clubs and the fans in the future?
Yeah, Maximilian, thanks for being here. It's good to see that there's some interests in the future of sports. So, yeah, also the former panelist, I remember also this picture, like the one guy who presented Bitcoin, and there have been 3 people. I think this is also representative here for the sports business. So I think over 15 years experience and a lot of advising. I had really luck to live in Munich, and also to work with one of the best clubs in the world. It's not from Hamburg. And yeah, the experience, we have like 2 good examples. Or on this side, there are innovators. There is Juppi, who is like hungry for innovation. There is Wolfsburg, who said, okay, this is our way. And on the other side, I think the market, or especially the right holders, are in a position where they watch, still go back and have a look on stuff like that. For example, I had a meeting last year with one international, also big club, and the preparation for the meeting was super interesting. Of course, everybody's nervous when you meet the board and so on, and they said, okay, Nenad, please, when you do the meeting, please avoid blockchain, metaverse, all this stuff. Please avoid this. And actually, this was one of the best advice also I give to others, because nobody cares about this, especially these guys, yeah? And they started to care about the fan. And I think Jürgen made the point. There are some promising startups out there, but, and let's take an example from one startup who made it really good, in my point of view, was the football club, yeah? So they built really a good experience. They worked with a lot of clubs, also with Juppi and Wolfsburg. But in the end, so of course the funding didn't take place, but it's still there. The product is good, but the people are not really there to use it. Yeah. So the fan is not there to use it. Yeah. And you have always to focus on this kind of areas, because the fan want to go to the stadium, eat a bratwurst, watch the game. So still the most of them are there. So I think we need patience for long things, and some of this, to say fuck-ups, are good, because the industry is starting to discuss business models, joint ventures, stuff like that, to see, okay, because in the end, how they work, they have two options: taking the money from players who come in, license, sponsoring, or try to work with some innovative startups. But this is the decision you have to make. Okay, should we work with a startup with like the football club, and then tomorrow they are gone, or should we work with big players like SAP or Adobe, because they're telling the same thing, they use other words. Yeah, so everybody using other words. It's like always the fan experience, life experience, and all this kind of stuff. So I think it's still, the market is still there, yeah, but we have to be patient, really patient, and look in the long term.
Yeah, I guess it's pretty hard to break these traditional structures and get open-minded for this kind of new ways, because the people don't know to use this. They have this, like you said, they want the sausage and the drink and the beer and just go there and have fun. But I think in the next generation it will kind of change, because the people get more tech affine. We saw the generation Alpha is playing like 85% of all of them. So there's coming a next generation. They really need this kind of stuff and want to have this kind of incentives when they spend the time. And that would be the nice break to the next question. What incentives can fans receive through the use of Web3 technologies in sports, and how can these incentives help increasing the fan engagement and participation?
Yeah, the difficult question, really difficult question. So I think the panelists before asked, so is there a difference between the Web2 or Web3 thing? I'm not sure if there is. Of course, the guys from Polygon say, yeah, they have to say this. I would always come back to the use case. So I think all of this stuff is not so important. It's important to really care what are the problems or what are the challenges. I can tell you one example what we are working with the German national team on. Is like there is this fancy app, I don't know what's the name, in golf, yeah? So you can just use your phone, scan you, and they say, okay, your swing is good or not, and so on. And the Bundestrainer said, okay, I need exactly like something like that, and I want that the players, when we have free kicks, shoot exactly free kicks like penalties. So this is like the goal. Bring me something like that and develop it. And it's a real usage, and it will solve a real problem. And I said to them, okay, maybe we should focus more on goalkeepers, because we are scoring goals. But in the end, it's like examples like that. Yeah, there are a lot of good startups who can solve parts of that. And we started to say, okay, let's focus more on startups like that. Let's see if they can do something, and then we also advise both sides, yeah, to join this, to build up maybe some equity programs and so on. And yeah, this would be my point on this. Yeah.
Pretty nice. Yeah, and when I was in Wolfsburg at a game where Juppi invited us, we saw this startup Ignoti with the ball.
IOTIS.
IOTIS, exactly. And this was a ball where it's full of sensors, where I can have a full track record of all this stuff when I shoot the ball away. So, and this data is pretty important for the players by self, also for the trainer, but also pretty interesting for the fan, yeah, to see how is my idol working and how in which kind of condition he is, yeah, and how is the developing maybe in his footprint on the ball or whatever. I think it's pretty interesting what kind of information to get. So you get you come more close to your idols, I guess, and can work with this kind of. This is pretty interesting.
I think there are a lot of potential startups around in this atmosphere, but the whole atmosphere is right now not that positive. So I think every club has to be Web3 and crypto ready when it comes again to the shift of the market. And this is what we are working on and trying to collaborate with different. And we have a pretty big advantage because we are I told you, a 100% Volkswagen subsidiary. We are in contact with Bentley, Audi, Porsche, Seat, Cupra, and it's very easy for us to contact them and ask them what they are doing right now in the Skoda-verse or in the Cupra-verse or something. And so we're exchanging information, and this is the advantage we have right now from our point of view.
Yeah, just to add that, I think that's a good point. We're in the market right now. For example, OneFootball, yeah. So they made a huge bet on Web3, really huge bet. I don't know the exact numbers, but I think they raised 300 million and put all in on Web3. And what happened? They went almost bankrupt, yeah. Because I think the product was not good. So they said like, okay, we fully focus on this and we go on moments, but the market is not there. The fan was not ready to buy some video of a game. Yeah, they really didn't care. And of course, the whole execution. And then, of course, the industry will ask, okay, if the big guys, if we can say like OneFootball is big, but yeah, if they fail, why should we work and invest our time in it? And it's a real hard struggle to understand this, to be there. So it's not the best time for it. And but I would say, when you focus really on the real problems, what you can solve, and focus on the fan, as the Jürgen said it. So I think this is the best advice you can.
Timing is everything, right?
And I mean, everything works in a hype market, right? But now you have to prove that there is a sustainable, problem you solve, and obviously you don't currently, right? So as Jürgen also said, like he doesn't see any like real sustainable good example on the market. So,
yeah, Konstantin. When I Google after you, the term innovation comes up quite often. How do you think sports can try out innovative business models, learn and deal with the failure to create successful integration processes for innovation?
Yeah, very interesting. First of all, thank you very much for having me here, guys. Very happy to be with you on the stage. Yeah, I'm Konstantin. I'm with PwC Germany, and I'm leading there the sports business advisory. And I've been for the last 2 years very close to everything what's happening in Web3 and sports, especially in the German market. So I probably have some insights in all of the projects, not just off-chain, but also like on-chain, because we did a lot of analytics there. And yeah, of course, Web3, blockchain solutions and innovation is something that, belongs together. But in general, innovation, if you look at a business model of right holders, especially teams, sports clubs, football clubs, so the business model is simple. You have to build up a sporting capacity, right? And then you have to market rights, sell the rights, then invest the money again in the sporting capacity. And the better you're doing in sporting terms, the more valuable is the right, and so on. So this is like the cycle. And every year you don't spend on sporting performance, and you put, for example, innovation is making you weaker on the market for players, and then you have a competitive disadvantage, and there is a fierce competition. You have to not getting relegated, you have to get promoted, and so on. And this makes innovation sometimes hard for right holders, I'd say, and especially the the circles of innovations, right? They're much longer than sometimes the business planning cycles of right holders. If you think like from 1 year to the next, you have to, not getting relegated or you have to getting promoted and so on. But innovation takes sometimes 2 years, 3 years and so on, especially if you have to implement it. We know it, for example, we're working together closely with Eintracht Frankfurt. We're a digital partner of Eintracht Frankfurt, and we're developing several digital solutions. And the solutions, they take sometimes 2 or 3 years, right? So especially if you want to, build up the solutions that it works as a white label solution that you can, bring on to other industries, to other players on the market. So it takes some time, right? So usually right holders don't have this time, this patience and to invest money like for 2 or 3 years. Eintracht is a special case right now. It works for them, but you have also to acknowledge that the last years this club was doing like pretty good, right, in sporting terms and so on. So they were like on many panels, digital champions and so on. So they're doing very well. So I think many times innovation is coming from outside. If you look at the Web3 market and the blockchain solutions from last year, so basically everything, as you also said, is it was triggered from outside money. So you bought like IP rights, and then you made the solution and developed like solutions like FanZone, like Football.com, like Sorare, all IP business, right? So the right holders themselves, they are not directly involved in the product. They basically receive like a licensing sum, and then the product is being developed then by the solution provider. So sports is basically acting as a platform, and that is where the innovation many times comes from, right? So not from within, but from outside, because I mean, right holders are visible brands, they are platforms, and that helps a lot for innovators from outside using the stage.
Yeah, I think Eintracht Frankfurt is a pretty nice topic, because the app is really amazing. They was really focusing on the fans. Yeah, this was the first topic on the whole app in the developing, and I really was impressed by the video where they showed up this new application and how they was explaining this whole structure. This was pretty amazing. I guess we're running out a bit of time, and we was talking already about, or we heard already some answers about the topic, but I would ask you again, what are the challenges and barriers to integrating blockchain and Web3 in sports, and how do you think they can be overcome?
Yeah, it's also a topic you can talk like for hours, I guess, on that. I mean, what is Web3 about? It's probably about like transparency. It's about the value allocation. It's about transactional efficiency. It's about digital assets and proof of ownership and so on. So those are all advantages, and I think any solutions that it's being now in the market has more or less look at those advantages, and so to overcome it, I think we're doing pretty good. So everything is developing. It's slow right now. The market sentiment is not very good. So this has to change. The appetite of the investors has to come back again. And I think cases like we talked about, for example, with now Nike and EA, or Nike and Fortnite, or Polygon, what they're doing with Starbucks. If this turns out like in 1-2 years that is still sustainable and those solutions are working on the market, that will help a lot. Also, what Alex said on the last panel, you have to detach like what is happening in the crypto world and all this regulation stuff and all the exchanges, and Web3, what's happening there. So if there is a clearer cut between those two things, that will help also a lot. And I think from perspective of right holders, from the sports perspective itself, I think, and this is what you said, Juppi, right holders have to get themselves more involved in the solution, right? Not just giving out the IP, the right, and then do whatever you want with your solution, but they have to be more involved because they are close to the fan, closer to what the fan wants. They need to create the content, the activation, the story, and everything. So, and this is much easier for the club because they are closer to the fans, and this has to switch now more and more, and this is what you're doing, as you said, with the platform of FanZone, that they're not just buying the IP, but they're offering the platform. You can put your content on the platform yourself, and it will help a lot.
Thank you very much. Okay, we're really running out of time, and I would love to talk more, but we have to come to the end. So maybe some final conclusion words from everybody, what you see, what's happened in the future, and where it's getting bigger.
I can say what happened by Sport1 for the future, for the next days. That's for us the solution we are going forward with our next projects. All of what we discussed is a topic internally, and so I think before Marco has announced the strategic partnership with Stars we're going on in this way. And another project we will start to the next season. We will go to the digital membership, digital ownership. It's based on our My Greatest Moment project. I can tell you later a little bit more. And so I think we are going forward, but the market, it will take time. I don't know exactly when this is going up, but I know that we are going forward in this way.
Thank you very much.
The state from Gucci was either you wait and see, or you try and learn. And we said we want to try and learn, and this is, I think, and by this we stepped very early into this stage, and we made with NFT partnership, licensing partnerships around 300,000–400,000 euros in 1 year. So and now the market is breaking down. So this is our legitimacy to step up to the C level and say, hey, you can also make money, and give us the time. And I can always say, hey, first you need also be have a little bit of luck, but you have to be the first ones in the market to make the money and go further and then develop on the basis of this. This is what we're gonna do now.
Knowledge and timing. Thank you very much, Juppi. Some closing words from Nenad and Konstantin, and then I think we have to come to the end.
Yeah, let's make it pretty easy. I think I still strongly believe on this technology and so on. Maybe it was too critical on some point, but for example, we also founded an investors club in sports, and we will also do it like with soul-bound NFTs, memberships, and so on. But we said, okay, we also need like a physical card, yeah, because we don't want to explain too much, yeah, to the older guys, for example, yeah. And this is like what I say. It's focus on the future, on all the technology part, and try to make it as easy as possible today, yeah, that you feel like there is no technology behind.
Thank you very much. Some last words from you, and then we have to finish.
I keep it short. Actually, I go with what Juppi said. You know, you have to get involved, try it out, look for the strong partnerships that helps you to go faster forward. And I think that's the best way to be part of what's happening and to develop it and not just watch and wait what happens to what others are doing.